Okay, we've been submitting another case here, and here's the note that came with it. Here's the plan for patient X. It's from the text message. This particular dentist, uh, he and I text back and forth. How about not placing the implant in the 5-6 region and moving or adding one to the number 9 area? I want to do a partial overdenture with locators for her. She's 88 but in good health. The graft in number 6 site was done in April of 2004 after the buccal plate came out with number 6. So let's take a closer look at that graft in number 6 site. That graft looks reasonably well done. It does look like we've lost some of that buccal plate, but overall not too bad. Not too bad at all. You can see how it follows the outline there. So let's go ahead and go to our plan. So a couple of things, what I want to start with. First, great job on recognizing that this is a more complex case, a case that is more suited for the traditional classic guide. Also recognizing that CEREC data will likely not register in this particular case because of the number of existing circumferential restorations. As a point of note, what I have found is that CEREC registration is likely to work with all ceramic crowns, not zirconia, but all ceramic crowns, Emax, Dynamic, just traditional porcelain, Empress, etc. So there's a chance that CEREC data would be able to be integrated on 13 and 14. But that being said, there's no way to verify that integration, so they would not fabricate an OptiGuide from it. But I would do that just from a perspective of possibly being able to design teeth and being able to bring in data. And that leads me to my next step. In this particular case, I would be a bit uncomfortable moving forward of planning this case without a diagnostic wax up and a diagnostic radiographic scanning appliance. And the reason is especially with locators or long span bridges, even more so with locators, angulation and location of the implant becomes significantly more important. Because locators are large, they stick out, they take away space from the frame, they take away space from the acrylic, they take away space from the teeth. If they're angled incorrectly or off angle, your O-rings will wear out, there's a chance it may not seat. There are many different things that can go on there. So to properly plan this case, what I would probably want is to send the upper model to the laboratory, have them design a wax up to ideal setup, and then go ahead and convert that into a radiographic scanning appliance with the Sirona bite plate attached to it, and then go ahead and rescan the patient with this bite plate in place. And from there we'll know where the teeth are, and then we'll also be able to better plan things. So I have some limited abilities to plan here. One of my, again, concerns is going to be path of draw on this particular case. I want to make sure that we do have a good path of draw. So right now the implants look relatively reasonable path of draw wise. My only comment on this particular plan right here is with this much bone, I would certainly go to a 4.3, and with that much length, I'd probably go to an 11 millimeter implant. No problem whatsoever there. We got enough space there. Do keep in mind the proximity of the sleeve to the adjacent tooth. You don't want to have a sleeve issue. As we can see here, we're barely clearing that tooth. So we have the ability to move it back some more. There we go. So I would be quite comfortable placing this implant in this position at this size and length. Again, angulation. Based on what I'm seeing here, we can see we're in the center of the tooth with locators. I actually err on the side of being to the lingual of teeth. And that gives me my housing through the lingual cusp that gives me more room for a tooth on the buckle so that we don't have to suddenly make a short tooth to be able to house the housing. I don't know how that came out that way. Now we come to the anterior implant. His note said, what about moving it to number 9? So let's go ahead and move it to number 9. Um, there's actually a little bit more bone there on number 9. I want to real quick move it back to number 8. Based on the plan that's given here, I would be a little uncomfortable with this plan. Actually, not a little, quite a bit uncomfortable because of how thin the buccal plate is there. They're just, I would like to have more buccal plate in this particular area. So if we wanted to keep the implant here, we could consider placing the implant like so. Now we have more buccal plate, and as we go through our 360, we can see that a little bit better. So that would be my only concern there. If we move it over to the number 9 position, again, the buccal plate is thinner there, so we do come into a little bit more potential there. So, but we could do it in the number 9 position. So let's go ahead and move that in more of the right spot. You want to make sure that obviously we keep the implant in bone. The buccal plate is the key. You want to make sure that we maintain that integrity of 1.5 to 2 millimeters of buccal plate. The great news with this particular implant is that you will be undersizing the osteotomy. If I were to use a 3.5 here, I'd certainly try to go to a 13 millimeter implant, and then we can go from there. So hopefully this has been helpful. I haven't really answered any of the major questions because unfortunately without the tooth information it becomes a little bit more difficult. But based on the plan, I would be quite comfortable putting this implant that we have in the 5-6 region, no problem. The number 9 region I question a little bit because remember we will have a abutment and then we will have a housing on there, and that housing may be too close or interfere with tooth number 10 here, requiring us to move this implant over a little bit, which isn't that big of a deal, but we just need to be aware of the size of these things when planning it. So let's get a little more information and we'll be happy to revisit this case. Thank you.